I'm Chris Hankin with ITI, and just spent a full day at How Green is the Internet at Google. Great event, intriguing group of folks, very smart folks. Two of the smartest that I know, John Koomey with Stanford University and Mark Aggar with Microsoft. Mark, John, observations, key things you think you learned today, or key questions that came to mind as a result of a full day at Google?
So I think it was important just to bring these very smart people together. It was definitely an A-list group of folks who focus on this specific issue of energy use and how to use, IT use and how to use it to affect energy use and improve efficiency and reduce environmental impacts.
And turn off car horns. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mark, go ahead.
I hadn't even noticed that, so you mentioned it. No, but I think it was really good to get a lot of people together to talk about both the greener IT and the IT for green side of the equation sort of together. I think there were some really interesting points sort of made actually towards the end of the day, which I've been thinking about for a long time, which is ultimately the vast majority of the world doesn't really care about the environmental impact of any one activity, and ultimately have a bunch of stuff they need to get through in their daily lives, and I'm going to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. So ultimately what we need to do as an industry is create products and services that are better for people to consume, that may be cheaper or not necessarily, and ultimately more sustainable. And I think the IT industry is in a great position to do that in the ways that we can improve the productivity of people, connect them together in a much better way. And the IT industry is really leading the charge on trying to be more sustainable, sourcing green energy, thinking about the full life cycle implications of the equipment they use, etc., etc.
So I think that's a very important point that people often fail to realize, that people, they just don't care about efficiency. It won't sell by itself if it's just efficiency. What you have to do is produce products and services that people just want, that also happen to be efficient and low emissions. And if you do that, then you can have transformational change. But you need to design the product that people want and deliver the efficiency along with other benefits that they value so highly that they're willing to pay a little extra to get the product.
Yeah, I mean, we see that today. I mean, no one bought a laptop because it used less energy than a desktop. They bought a laptop because it made them more productive, right? And similarly, you see that with tablets. People buy the tablets because they like that, touchy-feely experience. It doesn't matter they run 10 hours on a battery. They aren't buying it to save energy. They're buying that because they want an all-day battery life.
Yeah.
And so we've got to make sure that we're communicating with the customer in a language that actually resonates with them, as opposed to us greenies over here trying to tell them that if they don't do this, they won't save the world.
So here's another funny example. So a bathroom scale costs $20 or $30, right? A normal one. But if you internet enable the bathroom scale so that your weight is automatically uploaded, number one, no cheating. But number two, people are willing to pay $100 for that, right? So suddenly you put in $5 of parts, and you've got value added to this device that will make people want to pay a lot more for it. And so that's the kind of whole systems thinking that you have to do, is really think about how to take technology, build products that are simply better, and then build them in such a way that people just want them for their attributes.
I'm going to take you on a slight tangent here. One of the some of the pre-readings that Google supplied were to help people think about how good is the internet. Some of the data that's well, most of it was old. And actually, I think, Jen, you did a great job of talking about this in your scene setter you did this morning. Talking about the fact that we think the internet is helping us be greener, but do we really have the data that's keeping up with the kind of innovation that's occurring? And do you want to expand on that a bit?
I think that's a really important point. We don't have very good data on how much energy we use for different components of the system. There are certain places that have done a good job. The most recent is Sweden, where they have, I think, very good data on their network and some of their end-user equipment. But most countries don't have that, and we certainly don't have it for the world. So we need to spend a lot more time and effort collecting those data to just simply understand what's happening there. And then we need to start thinking about ways to take those data and allow us and help us to design better products and services that will reduce the environmental impact on the rest of the economy. So you can think of direct electricity use for these different devices. Maybe that's 10% of all electricity use. round number. But it's the other 90% of electricity use that IT can help you become more efficient with, plus all that other fuel that's not electricity. So there's a potential for very substantial systemic changes that can come about by using IT to make the rest of the economy a lot more efficient.
Absolutely. Mark, we promised we wouldn't take you guys away from the reception for more than 2 minutes. The last comment you want to add, and then we'll head back to drinks?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that it's really important to remember that, I don't think how green is the internet is necessarily the right question. I think the internet, no, I don't think anyone thinks the internet is bad. And yes, could the internet be more efficient? Yes, it could. The empowering aspect of the internet is that it's actually helping, bring better quality of life to people. That it's bringing people out of poverty. It's giving them more access to information and democracy and everything else. And so, I think it's important for us as the industry and as academics to measure, and improve. But ultimately, the important thing is let's make the internet available and let's let creativity flourish to find out interesting ways to, use that technology to enable people to have better qualities of life. And if it's greener, great, and we should definitely encourage that. But I don't think that's the most important piece, because if the economy, we can't tell people who are in poverty that, well, you can't have the same technology that we do because we're concerned about it not being very green. Ultimately they're going to want that technology and they should be absolutely entitled to have it. And so we as an industry need to do the best job possible of actually just reducing its impact as much as we can. But most of the time, a digital economy is actually going to be more effective and efficient than a physical one anyway.